Well, just to put some more in there, so it's better for later on. Yes, let's go ahead with the tracks. Those are the available tracks for tonight. Server 1. Really cool track. Pick the second one. Home track for you. I think that should be enough. Okay, I would say let's start with the track. We've never been there with the W12 series, so it's gonna be a debut. And I think I will not shuffle in that case because it's already, there's only 2 options, so we'll just add some more. Okay. Right, so the draw is complete for the first server. It's gonna be Clio Cup at Fuji. I'm gonna see you guys after the first, after the server is finished. Good luck, everyone. See you later.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in this world. And welcome back to week number 2 for the W12 Sprint Series. And we are glad to have you back. And well, today, as you've seen during the drop, server 1 will be at Fuji Speedway. This 4.4, almost 4.5 kilometer long track suits these cars extremely well. It's a long front straight where we will see a lot of drafting going on. That won't be the case in qualifying, because just like last week, qualifying will be closed and you will only have one lap to make it count. So you need to make it count as well. In order for that to happen, you need to put in a lap without getting an off track, and that is very difficult at this track. A lot of spots where you can easily pick up an off track, and that's so easy to do. Well then, let's talk about the cars a little bit. Of course, the Clio Cups, a car that we know very, very well, especially over here from my side. I have raced them before, I have seen them before, I've seen them race in real life before. They are absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see how these drivers will handle the car, especially on this track. Of course, a 4-cylinder turbo engine from Renault, and it produces 200 horsepower, so enough to make it count, especially in this car. Weight to horsepower ratio is 1:5, and that tells you that this car weighs about 1,000 kilograms. It's 1,032 kilograms, this car without the driver. So that's all about the car. Of course, we will need a pit stop in the feature race. In the heat races we won't, and in the consolation race we won't see a pit stop either. Well then, let's take a look and see if we can find someone that we can go on board with. See if we can find an onboard lap. Here we go. This is, if we look, the schedule, this is Benedict Hitz. He's at the moment second in the standings. So let's wait. Alright, Benedict Hitz onto the front straight. Miss those sausage curbs. You can actually get damage from those sausage curbs. You can damage your suspension because of them. So you have to stay off of them. Alright then, down this long back straight where we will see a lot of slipstreaming going on in these cars, especially during the heat race. It's so important, if you're in the lead, to try and break that draft, because drivers will benefit from it, and especially down this long back straight. You can see how long this is full power. Braking into turn 1. Early braking for these cars. Remember, these are just street stock cars like you see them on the road. The only thing they've done is put a roll cage in them and put some performance packages on it. So some performance parts through turn 2. Through turn 3, a very, very long right-hander. So easy to just understeer wide there, basically. Through the left-hander after that, very difficult. It's not an easy left-hander, especially not with the long right-hand force that you have to put on the car when you turn through 100R, turn 4 and 5, the long right hand that we just went through. Then you have turn 8 and 9, which isn't really a turn, and includes 300R. Then we go into the Dunlop corner, which is the chicane at the bottom of the hill, then through turn 13, 14. That is the turns we've just gone through. This is turn 15 of this track, and the elevation change here in the last sector is extreme. Up the hill through turn 16, last corner on the track. And then you have the run to start finishing that, ladies and gentlemen, is a lap around this track. And it will be quite a long lap, 2 minutes in total, almost this lap. A 1:57.38 is the quickest lap time at the moment from Jonas Vana. Jonas picking up where he left off last week on the Friday. We don't usually race on the Friday. But the Friday last week was a one-off to get the season underway. So then let's take a look, because after last week we also have a championship to talk about, and that is also important. Let's take a look at the overall championship. Here is the overall championship for the W12 Sprint Series after round 1. Jonas Vana is leading the way by 0 points, it says. That is not correct, I can tell you that much. Jonas Vana is leading by 77 points, or is leading with 77 points. Let's try that again. Yeah, it looks like that's bugged out. Alright, I can go over them because the positions are correct. And it is 77 points for Jonas Vana. 62 for Mirko Bortolotti. 55 for Lucas Müller. Also 55 for Hendrik Augustin. Then we have Marius Zug on 44. Then 33 points for Walter Lux. Florian Becker on 26 points. 18 points for both Pascal Haas and Hendrik Steurer. 14 points for 3 drivers. Sean Ter, Jens Fiedler and Martin Stadtmann. 11 points for 2 drivers. That is Marinko Jordanovski and Marnix Heiser, of course, the one who could only compete in Server 1 last week around. Then we have Hugo Rob with 9 points. And Florian Stadtmann also on 9 points. Florian Stadtmann in P16. Then Benjamin Moza on 7 points together with Quinten Verdonk. Quinten was very strong in the GTEs last week. So that's where Quinten picked up most of his points. Then we have Benedict Hitz on 5 points together with Jan Lins. Jan Lins also on 5 points. Can we see? Ah, there we go. There are the points. So 5 points for Jan Lins. You can have a look at them. I'm going to leave them like this for a second so you can pause if you want. And you can see where your favorite driver is. Let's move on then to a little bit further down the order. Thorsten Gross in P21 with 3 points. And P22 for Matthew Roughton with 2 points. That's not the only championship that we have. We also have another championship, and that is the Silver Championship. Here we go with the Silver Championship. Leading that championship is Florian Stadtmann on 18 points. Jan Lins on 14. 10 points for Malik Seiser and Thorsten Gross. Malik Seiser, of course, like I said, could only compete in Server 1 last week. So for him to be in P3, that is job very well done. 9 points for Matthew Roughton. 8 points for Quinten Verdonk. 5 points for Stefano Pellegrino. Philippe Hugrin on 3. 2 points for both Marcus Deutsch and Tom Leitgeb. And 1 point for both Chris Meyer and Davy Obermann. So those are the championship standings at the moment. But there are also some penalties to talk about. 2 penalties, 3 penalties in fact given in Server 1. That is 1 for Egelwolf, incident responsibility in the consolation race. That was the big crash we saw in the consolation race. That has given him a 1 qualifying ban plus 2 license points. 2 license points also for Martin Stadtmann. He caused a collision and has got a 25-second penalty in Server 1. And Chanter in the feature race as well got a 10-second time penalty plus 1 license point. Server 2 are 5 penalties to talk about. Hochleitner got 1 penalty, 25 seconds, the same as Chris Meyer. Both happened in Heat 1. 2 license points and a 25-second penalty for causing a collision. Then Benedict hits in heat 1 as well, caused contact, and he got a 10-second time penalty and 1 license point. Then Torsten Gross in the feature race, also incident responsibility, a 1 qualifying ban. So both Egelwolf and Gross you won't see qualify here today. And then Chris Meyer as well as in the heat race. In the feature race, he again caused a collision, and that was a 25-second penalty and another 2 license points for him. Who are the drivers with license points then? Well, it's a championship. You don't want to be leading. It isn't really a championship, but it's something you don't want to be leading. Chris Meyer is on top there with 4 points, 4 license points. Then Egelwolf, Gross, Hochleitner, and Martin Stadtmann with 2 points. Chanter and Benedict Hitz both on 1 point. There were no warnings to talk about, so only penalties to talk about there. Well then, we've been on board with Benedict Hitz for quite a while, but it's Jonas Varna picking up where he left off last week around. Winston Eckel is also back for Platinum Racing Team. So that's great to see him. Of course, he signed up to the championship, wasn't able to do the opening round, but he at the moment finds himself in P3. This is exactly how it's looking. We have 3 minutes of free practice left. And at the moment, both Benedict Hitz and Winston Eckel improving on their times. But it is so difficult, really, to find more speed once you're at that threshold. Look at the drivers behind the Gazax boys. They are both slipstreaming each other. Jonas Varna, here he is. And that beautiful livery. Of course, driving for Doha Esports. Same counts for Benedict Hitz. That's why both of those drivers have the same livery. I was confused at the beginning. I thought I had selected Benedict Hitz again, but that was not the case. It's a Doha Esports 1-2 at the moment here in this practice session. Of course, as always, it's important to know that we have 2 classes. Well, basically 1 class and 1 overall championship. And the drivers that are in the silver class are also racing for the overall championship. So if a silver wins overall, he doesn't get silver points only, but he also gets the overall points. That's why you might see a difference between the silver points and the overall points that someone has as well. So keep that in mind. Also, we welcome Niels Langeveld. He wasn't with us on Friday either. It's great to see Niels back. We're waiting at the moment for qualifying. And I think there's only one man we can go on board with, and that is Jonas Varna. But it's unbelievable. The man hasn't been second in any session so far yet. In any session he's competed in, let's put it like that, because the heat races he finished first in, but heat race number 2 he didn't take part in, of course, because he was in the top 15 in qualifying. So then it's almost time for qualifying again. On this 4.8 kilometer or 4.5 kilometer long track, excuse me. Niels Langeveld finishes off the lap. And puts his car to the right hand side to pull off Jonas Varna. It's unbelievable, but he's just gone quicker again, 0.4 of a second ahead of Benedict Hitz. There is Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko Bortolotti found himself in P6 in that session, more than a second off. And that is something that we haven't seen before. The drivers are going to have to be quick here. Only 2 minutes for a it is 2 minutes for a qualifying lap, and you don't have a lot of time to spare here if you want a peaceful out lap that you don't really have to push on. Of course, only one lap, so only 5 minutes required. But this is the man that you need to keep your eye on. Jonas Varna. He's been so amazingly quick. And he's going to try and do, once again, the same here today. 3/100R. It's actually a very, very long right-hander. They love to call their corners something R in Japan, it seems like. Of course, the most famous corner in the Japan motor racing world, really, is 130R on Suzuka, Japan. And I like 130R more. And that's basically because in 100R, the only thing you're getting is understeer. But let's see if Jonas Varna is able to negate that understeer. See if Jonas Varna is able to make the car go where he wants the car to go instead of where the car wants to go. Alright then. On board with Jonas Varna. Everyone's trying to put their time down. He's going to have more than enough time, but he isn't going to have time to go again. So keep that in mind. Jonas Varna, even on the outlap, had the quickest first sector time, or the quickest second sector time. So that tells you something. Into turn one, neat and tidy. Keep it in between the white lines though, Jonas. Because if you don't, a very difficult evening will be waiting for you in server one. Talked to Jonas Varna at the end of last week's round, and his confidence was as high as ever, the highest it had ever been. Of course, opened with a Grand Slam. Finished first in every session he took part in. And that is something that we have not seen yet in the W12 series. Because it's so difficult to do, especially in a feature race in server 2, because we have a reversed top 18 there. And there was a massive crash last week as well. But nothing seemed to hold Jonas Varna back. He found exactly the pace you need to find. He found exactly the right gap he needed to find during that big crash. One car went to the moon, I can inform you. We're still trying to find it. It's an outer orbit, orbiting somewhere, together with the Tesla that is out in the outer space, somewhere orbiting the world. With the GTEs. But here we go, across the line. Let's see what lap time he's going to put in. He's purple in both Sector 1 and Sector 2. No one has gone across the line yet. Will he be the first one? I think Benedict Hitz will be the first one. Will he put in a lap time? So far, it looks like the case. Yes, 1:58.47. But there is Jonas Varna, 1:57.28. And that is 0.7 of a second quicker than Lucas Müller. That is almost a full second quicker than Mirko Bortolotti, his closest championship rival, or four-time champion of the W12 Sprint Series, in trouble. Of course, we did have two qualifying bans, those qualifying bans being Thorsten Gross and Egelwolf. Egelwolf doesn't seem to be hit. And Thorsten Gross, if I look on my left hand side, a lot of people to go through, but it doesn't look like Thorsten Gross is here either. Well then, Jonas Varna is Gonna start the heat race from the pole position, and he was on pole by over half a second. Guess who was in second? The driver who returned. It was Winston Eckel. Let's take a look at the grid real quick. Here is the grid. Jonas Vana P1, ahead of Lucas Müller P2, Hendrik Steurer P3, Benedict Hitz P4, Quinten Verdonk P5, Christoph Steiner 6th, Benny Moser 7th, Michael Dörlinger 8th, Martin Stadtmann 9th, Mario Trummer in P10, Tom Leitgeb in 11th, Christian Ablasser in P12. P13 for Marinko Jordanovski, Hugo Zasse P14, Jan Lins P15, and Benedict in P16. That is how they're going to line up here. So let's take a look at Jonas Vana. Here he is. On the left-hand side, we're waiting 6 minutes this heat race. 6 minutes to decide who's going to start on pole position. I'm going to also, for the first time, see really how big that slipstream effect is. Waiting for the moment on Jan Lins. There's Jan Lins at the back of the grid. That means that the gridding is complete. The 5 red lights are going to be on the gantry very soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Green, green, green.
And we're green for round number 2 of the W12 Sprint Series here at Fuji Motorsport, or at Fuji International Speedway with the Clio Cups. A good start from Jonas Vana. Lucas Müller trying everything he can to hold off. That was Hendrik Steurer behind him, but at the moment it's a door 1, 2, 3 in this heat race. That means that door will start 1, 3, and 5 in the race, and they look so damaging at the moment at the front of the pack, all 3 of them together. And I wonder, is there going to be some teamwork in play here? And extra, the first of the non-door cars, Porsche PSG Virtuella Motorsport. And Christoph Steiner, the first of the silver drivers here. Remember, the top 5 immediately continues to the feature race. Oh, Quinten Verdonk at the moment, I think there's a bumper out on track, and that bumper is from Tom Leitgeb, who still manages to somehow pass Jan Lins. Jan Lins takes the wide line. Is that going to help him? The inside line for Tom Leitgeb, and Tom Leitgeb gets through. That now makes it vulnerable to Quinten Verdonk as well. Quinten's going to try to switch back. Of course, Quinten in the sprint race in Survey 2 was on top in the silver class until he spun himself last week, and that was not ideal for him. Jonas Vana. Now we're going to see how strong that slipstream effect is. Let's go on board with Hendrik Steurer. Of course, Benedict Hitz ahead of him also has slipstream. So don't forget that. Driver ahead of Hendrik Steurer has slipstream, and look how much that is worth. Lucas Müller has caught up a 2-3 tenths to Jonas Vana at the front, but the slipstream not as effective as I thought it would be. Still Jonas Vana at the front. Benedict Hitz in third. Still door 1, 2, 3. Martin Stadtmann for Kazakhs. First of the Kazakh scores at the moment in P7. Still Christoph Steiner in P5. We had a unicum with Marnix Heister going through to the feature race immediately during the heat race. He was the first silver driver to do so this season. But Christoph Steiner could add himself to that list if he finishes where he is right now, and that is top 5. Closest battle behind him is almost exactly a second. That is Benjamin Moser in the Super Mario livery. I hope I did my wannabe Mario there. All the Italian people are now tuning out of the live stream. I know. Oh, there's a look up in front. Or was that even a spin? It doesn't matter because they managed to hold on to it at the front. P3 is under attack as well. That's Benedict hits from Henrik Stöhr. Henrik Stöhr once again all over the gearbox of Benedict hits. Down the front straight. Surely Henrik Stöhr will be able to mount an attack into turn 1. With how close they are, with how much the slipstream is working its effect, but he just isn't gaining anything. The fact that Benedict hits that slipstream from Lucas Müller is negating all the advantage that Henrik Stöhr gets. Once again, a lock up in front. He's putting Benedict hits under so much pressure. But the fact that he has his Dot Sports teammates ahead of him is helping him to bits. Once again, wide there, and another little mistake from Benedict hits. He's under pressure, and it's a moment of time before he's going to crack, I think. We should have another lap after this one if my calculations are correct. He has a little bit of a look. Henrik Stöhr can't quite do it. Christoph Steiner is in the background to pick up the pieces if they do format. Stadtmann is getting closer to to Christoph Steiner. Benjamin Moser has lost that position to him. Marinko Jordanovski also coming through for Gazex. The battle is at the front. There's the lockup. That is from Lucas Müller. And look how much time he's lost with that. From about 8, 9 tenths ahead of Benedict hits, he's now within 4. And Benedict is all over the back of his teammate now. There also appeared to be 2 cars with the number 10. Can't exactly explain why that is the case. But they have the number. Oh, okay, there we go. The number is not on the door. The number is the yellow one on the front windshields and on the side doors of the car. Number 6 for Benedict hits, Lucas Müller 23 and Jonas Vana 19. Further back, Christian Ablasser coming out of the lost corners all over the back of Jan Lins. We're going to go back to the battle at the front. Going all the way over to the right to defend from his teammate is Lucas Müller. It is not going to count. He locks up once again. Both teammates are scrapping with each other. That's going to give Henrik Stöhr the chance to catch up again. They had a little bit of a gap, but all the gap now back down to 0 because both of them couldn't decide which one was going to finish ahead. Well, the big points are awarded in the feature race. Both of them are fighting here in the heat race. Benedict hits, tried to overtake Lucas Müller, and that tells me one thing: there are going to be no team orders here. But you do race your teammate with different respect than you do any other driver. But at the front of the field, Jonas Vana has a 3-second gap. And he's picking up where he left off, basically. Oh, once again, another look up now from both of them. Benedict hits now is side by side with Henrik Stöhr. Henrik Stöhr gets pushed onto the grass. He's not going to give up that position though. Both of them couldn't decide who was going to finish ahead. And now it's going to be Henrik Stöhr who's going to be on the podium in this heat race as it looks like. But not quite. Benedict hits, fights back down the inside. Christoph Steiner might get through as well in the Momo car. He's now up into P4. It will be through to the feature race regardless. It's going to be one final chance for Henrik Stöhr. And he's going to take both of them into the last corner. It's going to be a drag race to the line between these three. Jonas Vana is going to start on the pole. But who of these three is going to finish in P3 and going to start P5? It looks like it's going to be Benedict hits who's going to finish P4. That looks to be Christoph Steiner. But not by much, it's by 7 thousandths of a second. And Henrik Stöhr has to take a P5, but he will still be straight through to the feature race. No consolation race for him. What a drive from Henrik Stöhr. and from Christoph Steiner and Benedikt Hitz. All three of them had an amazing fight. But that was the heat race number 1. Let's take a look then at how we're lining up for heat race number 2. Winston Eckel ahead of Mirko Bortolotti, Niels Langeveld in P3, and Hendrik Augustin in P4, Jens Fiedler 5th, Florian Becker 6th, Chris Meyer 7, Marius Zug 8, Philippe Ugrand P9, Sean Ter P10, Stefano Pellegrino P11, Walter Lux in P12, in P13 it is Matthew Ralton in P14, Hugo Rob, Marcus Deutsch in P15, and Davy Roma in P16. Let's go to the grid where the drivers are lining up to get this race underway. The gridding is underway. The gridding is done. The 5 red lights going to be on the gantry very soon. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Green, green, green.
And we're underway for heat race number 2. Not the best getaway from Winston Eckel. Our pole sitter immediately beaten off the line by Mirko Bortolotti. And they're going to go side by side into turn 1. Who's also looking to get past. That's his teammate Niels Langeveld. Florian Becker also tried to get past. We had a Door Esports 1, 2, 3. In heat race number 1, Kazakhs at the moment looking to do exactly the same in heat race number 2. This is for positions 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. The rest is all going to go to the consolation race further back. Philippe Ugrand, he's made his way through up 3 positions from where he started on the opening lap. However, he has just dropped that position to Chris Meyer, the other driver in the Mario Kart. There's a Golf liveried Clio Cup car behind that. Feeling that might be Sean Ter. That's the Pulse Racing. And what the Impulse Racing is Hendrik Augustin. It is indeed Sean Ter with the Golf liveried car. Mirko Bortolotti at the front of the field, trying to get his gap. But he's not doing so. Winston Eckel is trying to find a way past Niels Langeveld, but both of them working together. Mirko Bortolotti giving Niels Langeveld the slipstream he needs. Niels Langeveld doing everything to keep Winston Eckel behind. Marius Zug in P4. He's up 4 positions from where he started. Jens Fiedler in P8 ahead of Hendrik Augustin in P9. Both of them lost 3 and 5 positions respectively. This is now where Winston Eckel is going to try and make a difference. A good exit from Winston Eckel. Slipstream now for Mirko Bortolotti. This is how much slipstream will do. Mirko Bortolotti will move over to the right to give his teammate Niels Langeveld the slipstream. But it's not going to be enough. Winston Eckel gets P2. And he's on to chase Mirko Bortolotti for that 2nd starting place in the feature race. A little bit further back, Jens Fiedler is going to be side by side with Hendrik Augustin. Augustin on the outside, Jens Fiedler on the inside. Jens Fiedler is going to try and get through. Both of them side by side on the exit of turn 1 still. There we go. Hendrik Augustin has to slot in behind Jens Fiedler. Ahead of that is Sean Ter, P6. He needs 1 more position for him to advance to the feature race immediately without having to do the consolation race. Mirko Bortolotti still at the front. Winston Eckel is going to try and make his way through. It's going to take him some time though, or is it? Winston Eckel immediately to the outside. He knows where he wants to put Mirko. Mirko deep into the right-hander. Now he's going to try and do the switchback. Try and get the power down earlier. And he gets it. Down the inside, he's going to try and make it work. The 17 of Winston Eckel is past the 92 of Mirko Bortolotti. And we have a change for the lead. And our pole sitter is back where he started this race. Winston Eckel. Very impressive how he's managed to do that. And he's now ahead. He's now the one towing everyone long though. So for him, this isn't ideal. He needs to ideally try and create a gap. But The 3/4 tenths of a gap that he had at the beginning of the straight seems to be enough to keep Mirko Bortolotti behind. Niels Langeveld in P2 now. Then it's Florian Becker. So the three Gazakh cars line astern. But not P1, 2 and 3. It's P2, 3 and 4 for them. A look up from Florian Becker. So easy to lock up that inside rear tyre. Especially when you start turning and braking at the same time. But Winston Eckel is not free of Mirko Bortolotti yet. He still is going to have to fight for it. Another lap after this. If both of them work together, if they start fighting too much, we might have this as the last lap. Mirko's all over the back of Winston Eckel. After Winston has gotten past, he hasn't really been able to make amends. He's going to stick to the inside, isn't he? No, he's going to go to the outside. He wants the inside for the left-hander. He's not going to get it. Winston Eckel. Oh, they're both deep into the corner. That's going to allow Niels Langeveld to get back to the rear of Mirko Bortolotti. 700th of a second is the gap from Bortolotti to Eckel. This is what he needs to try and overtake him at come the end of the front straight. Winston Eckel, once again, he builds that gap a little bit. 0.4 of a second. This is what he needs. At the exit, that is where Winston is so strong. That's where Eckel gains all of his time to Mirko Bortolotti. Goes over to the right-hand side. He can only move back once now. But it looks to be enough to Mirko. Yeah, from Mirko to Niels. There's a lot less. Across the line. Winston Eckel has enough of a gap to make this potentially work. Niels Langeveld looks at the inside of Winston Eckel. Can't quite get it. So has to slot in. Take P3 for now. This is the closest battle in the field after Marius Zug and Walter Lux. The both of them side by side. The Michelin car, the number 24, that is Walter Lux. On the outside, left-hand side of screen, right-hand side of screen is Marius Zug. In the BS Plus competition, livery car. No silver as it stands will advance to the feature race immediately, but most importantly, Walter Lux gets through. Let's go back to this battle at the front of the field. Mirko Bortolotti, 0.2 of a second at the moment. That is the gap. He looks to the outside. Mirko Bortolotti looks up. And that is potentially what Winston Eckel needed for him to open up that gap now into the last sector. I'd be surprised if Mirko's going to find a way past it. Niels Langeveld though, seems like he wants to get past his teammate. Mirko tries it up the inside. Winston Eckel professionally blocks that. Doesn't give him any chance. Always that is slowdown for Winston Eckel. That might have been a slowdown. He cut that corner maybe a little bit too much. And that is going to give the victory and the second place eventually to Mirko Bortolotti. Niels Langeveld will finish second. And Winston Eckel, after a slowdown in the last sector, after the pressure mounted from Mirko, he fumbled under the pressure and got a slowdown penalty. Let both Mirko Bortolotti and Niels Langeveld past. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the heat races. Florian Becker comes through in P4. Goodness me, who's that in the background? That is Hugo Rob. Hugo, that is not the line. Manages to get it stopped in time. But let's go to the grid for the consolation race. Waiting for the grid to show up. All right, there we go. There's the grid. It's Martin Stadtmann on pole, Sean Ter second. In third, it's Benny Moza, Hendrik Augustin in fourth. Fifth is Marinko Jordanovski. Sixth, Hugo Rob. Seventh, Mario Trumma. And eighth, Walter Lux. Ninth is Mikael Dörlinger. 10th, Marius Zug. And for more, we don't have time, because we're already getting underway.
Green.
It's lights out and we're underway for the consolation race. 5 minutes only this. So I only expect about 3 laps that we have. It's going to be side by side between the pole sitter and Chanté. That's Martin Stadtmann. Chanté on the inside of the Golf livery car. On the outside of the Gazex livery, Martin Stadtmann. He's going to try to cut back. Try and get a better exit on Chanté. And that's going to work. He forces Chanté to the inside of the corner. But that is where you want to be. Chanté is going to professionally keep that inside. He's not going to allow Martin Stadtmann to get past. But once again, the cutback's going to work. But not as good as it did out of turn 1. Chanté now has that lead. Martin Stadtmann ahead of Marinko Jordanovski. This will be for positions 11 and lower, this consolation race. Hugo Rob is trying to make his way through as well. 3 Gazex cars line is third. We're going to be 4 wide. And who has to bail out? That was Benny Moza in Mario livery car. But look how they're haunting down Chanté. 3 Gazex cars line is third. Chanté doesn't know which one to defend. The inside though for the number 5. That is Martin Stadtmann. He forces both of his teammates wide. Hugo Rob and Marinko Jordanovski won't be happy with that. And a little bit further back, Marius Zug is going to try and make his way around the outside of Benny Moza. He's going to successfully do so. Benjamin Moza is dropping back here. He's lost 3 positions to where he started. Philippe Ugram also making his way past. It's once again a 2-3-4 for Gazex Racing. It's this Golf livery man, Chanté, who's at the front of the field at the moment and will take up spots 11 in the race. Martin Stadtmann in P2 ahead of Marinko Jordanovski in 3. Marius Zug in 4th, Benny Moza in 5th, Philippe Ugram in P6, Hendrik Augustin 7th, Walter Lux in 8th, 9th, Hugo Rob, and 10th, Quinten Verdonk. Quinten Verdonk having a bit of a more difficult evening compared to what he had last time round in the GTEs. Chanté showing what he can do. And don't forget, that top 5 in both heat races is so competitive and so important to know who you're racing, to know how to race them, to know how they race. Chanté a bit wide. That's going to give Martin Stadtmann the chance to catch back up to him. Martin Stadtmann flashing his lights. There's no reason for that, Martin. And the only reason I can see him do that is to try and distract Chanté. But that is not working. Not working for the moment. Next lap will be the last lap. 3 laps only. That's 3 laps more than anyone else has had. Philippe Ugram, this is for the lead in the silver class in this race. Won't mean too much. But Quinten Verdonk will want that extra position. Will want to be higher up in the silver class from the get-go. There won't be the line up alongside him. Quinten Verdonk eagerly wants to get past in the background. Chris Meyer. Oh, there's a tap. Chris Meyer at 24 almost went round. That was Hugo Rob who tried to make his way through on the inside. Mario Trumma and Chris Meyer. That has now lost him quite some time. So with 50 seconds to go, the white flag is out. Side by side between Hugo Rob and Tom Leitgeb. Mario Trumma on the outside. Hugo Rob on the inside, and Hugo is going to get that position. Further up the front is Marius Zug, PS Plus competition. Oh, and there's been a lead change. Marinko Jordanovski and Martin Stadtmann have overtaken Chanter. Don't know exactly when that happens, but that is not ideal. Actually, Ramsey is out of this race. Maybe he can start the race. It looks like. Doesn't even look like he's gotten off his starting position. It's Maya in P10. P20 in the race. Oh, the side by side, that is Chris Maya and Hugo Rob. Hugo Rob behind him. Hugo Rob is now ahead, but a little bit of a tap from Chris Maya allows him to go back past Hugo Rob. Hugo is now going to try and do the cut back. You want the inside line for the last corner though. He's going to take a very wide approach. He had the chance to do so. Look at the exit there. Hugo Rob's going to get. Martin Stadtmann is going to win it. Oh, he's gone off. That's Hugo Zasse. Manages to regather himself, but lost a couple of spots. Marinko Jordanovski finishes in second, and Chanter will finish in P3. But there was once again nothing in between it. 400 of a second between Marinko Jordanovski and Chanter. Once again, Hugo Rob snaking down the front straight. That is bam into the wall. That is not ideal, is it, Hugo? That's going to be an expensive repair job. But that is it. Let's now wait till the warm-up is over. And let's wait till we can show you the grid for the feature race. Because, oh boy, what a grid we have. Now excited to see what Winston Eckel can do. First time back. And immediately up there fighting with Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko needs everything he can get. He's going to start from P2. He's going to start from the front row, which wouldn't have been the case if we would have taken the qualifying result. But Jonas Vana is also going to try and do everything to keep him behind him. And if we look at the form that Jonas Vana is in, then I doubt if he's even going to be able to get past. Alright, waiting then for the grid. Alright, here we go. Here's the grid for the race. Jonas Vana will start on pole position alongside Mirko Bortolotti. And Lucas Müller in P3, Niels Langeveld in 4th, Benedict Hitz in 5th, Winston Eckel in 6th, but he's definitely going to climb some positions if he survives the opening lap. Christoph Steiner in 7th, Florian Becker in 8th, Hendrik Störer P9, Jens Fiedler P10, Martin Stadtmann in 11th, Marinko Jordanovski P12, P13 for Chanter, Marius Zoek 14, Benny Mosa 15, 16, Hendrik Augustin, Quinten Verdon, Chris Meyer, Philippe Hugrin, and Hugo Rob rounds off the top 20. Mario Truma in P21, Tom Lightgate 22nd, Marcus Deutsch 23rd, Walter Lux 24th. 25th, Hugo Zasse, Stefano Pellegrino, Jan Lins, Michael Döringer, Christian Ablasa and Benedict rounding off the top 30. And P31 and 32, we find Davy Roma and Matthew Roughton. Well then, that is gridding done. The 5 red lights are going to be on Mirko Bortolotti. Will need a good start here if he wants to beat. There's a jump start in the middle. Who is that? Who is that jump start? That is Philippe Hugrin. He is going to have a drive-through. He's going to have a black flag and a stop and go. So the smartest thing for him to do now is to get out of the way. Mirko Bortolotti challenging Jonas Vana. He knows this might be his only opportunity to get past. He pushed him all the way to the outside of the track. Almost doesn't allow him to come back onto the track. Jonas Vana keeps the inside for the next left-hander, and that is going to be vital, because that means Jonas Vana will come out ahead and can now start building a lead if he is able to do so. Lucas Müller in P5, he's dropping down. Winston Eckel has just gotten past him, but Winston Eckel is also dropping down some positions. Takes a very, very wide line. Is there a slowdown involved? I think so. Might have cut one of the corners too much in the opening lap. And if you do that in the opening lap, that is punishing. Down to P10 for Winston Echo. Lucas Müller down to P7. Mirko Bortolotti has dropped down to P3. He's been overtaken by his teammate Niels Langeveld. Jonas Varna already busy building that gap, but there's a mistake from Jonas Varna. He's going to cut across the chicane. He's going to have a slowdown to serve. And that is going to give Mirko Bortolotti and Niels Langeveld the lead they need. That is something that I didn't think we would see from Jonas Varna. A mistake shows he is human and he can make mistakes. But that's a very costly mistake. Look how much the car from Niels Langeveld is bouncing on those sausage curbs. Mirko Bortolotti with a bit of a spin manages to gather it back up. But also Mirko Bortolotti with a mistake. The top two under pressure. The top two in the championship under huge pressure. And now already trying to come through, and Mirko Bortolotti again. Jonas Varna, he's going to get the slipstream from Benedict Hitz, his teammate. Mirko Bortolotti is trying to push him into the wall. They both have contact on the straight. This is going to get feisty. These two know how important this could be for the championship. Once again, there's contact to the outside. Now, is he going to make it 3-wide? Jonas Varna is going to be smart round the outside. Mirko Bortolotti looks up. That is Florian Becker. Or Jens Fiedler going all the way wide. No, it was Florian Becker. Jens Fiedler has gone through. That is the Red Bull livery car. Benedict Hitz now is going to try and stick together with Mirko Bortolotti. But phew, that was an opening lap, and an opening lap in where a lot happened. And a lot of important things happened. Jonas Varna slotting in behind his teammate Benedict Hitz. Martin Stadtmann in P13 is going to try and make his way round Henrik Steurer. Henrik Steurer closed the gap there. At the moment, Winston Eckel up one position from where he ended the first lap, P9 at the moment. Lucas Müller in P8, he's dropping down even further. Mario Trummer in a fight with Walter Lux. Walter Lux on the inside. Mario Trummer on the outside. Oh, big crash up ahead. One of the Kazakh cars involved. That is also involved, I think. Henrik Steurer, Penny Mosa involved in it. That's a huge crash. Martin Stadtmann also was involved in that. But the top four, top five are seemingly unscathed. Marinko Jordanovsky looks to be one of the ones who was in that as well. Or he might have just avoided it. Vincent Verdonk at the moment second in the silver class. He's doing a tremendous job for DSRT. Picked up the pieces when his teammate Marnus Huister wasn't there in server 2. Apart from that spin where he gave away the lead in the sprint race in server 2. We have our first pit stops. Benedict Hitz, Jonas Varna coming into pit lane. They're very early. Very, very early. And we have even more. One of the Kazakh cars, one of the Mario livery cars as well. See who's going to exit pit lane first. All of these cars, a lot of cars in. I think we have about 7-8 cars in. But who's going to leave first, and how long is this pit stop going to be? It's going to be the Momo car. And that is... looks to be Martin Stadtmann. Well then, we've come out of pit lane and Mirko Bortolotti is still leading this race ahead now of Niels Langeveld. Jens Fiedler in between. Where? Has he made a pit stop already? Jonas Varna is in pit lane. There's Jonas Varna, a long pit stop for him. And that is going to be the first time, I think, that Jonas Varna is not going to be first in a session that he takes part in this season. And it took him one full round and almost a half round. Mirko Bortolotti can pick up so many points here. It's important that Niels Langeveld knows this. But Niels Langeveld wants to go for his own championship chances as well. That was a very long pit stop from Jonas Vana, 1 minute 20 seconds. Normal pit stop time would be around the 40-second mark. 44 seconds for Jan Lins. Christoph Steiner and Davy Eulma, both 40 seconds. Davy Eulma was the first car to get back off pit road. That was the Momo sponsored car. Quinten Verdonk is going to try and make his way through as well. He's now in the lead of the silver class. Here's Quinten. Quinten in the all blue livery. Oh, he has to slow down. Quinten Verdonk. I'm bigging him up and he decides to get a slow down there. Sean Terre as well. He's now P11. Trying to make his way through. And we've got Agustin in P10 and Hugo Zasse P9. He's leading this train in the Kazak's car. Niels Langeveld behind his teammate now. This is for the lead. Not expecting any pass to be made here, to be honest. Expecting Niels Langeveld to work together with Mirko here. Maybe Niels is going to try something cheeky in the pit stops. But I don't think that Niels is going to try and challenge Mirko on track. Even though he looks quicker, he visibly looks quicker. But this could be huge points for Mirko. All over the sausage curbs there for Niels Langeveld. That could give you suspension damage, so watch out with doing that. That inside corner there also very easy to pick up a slowdown, like we've seen. All over those sausage curbs is Niels Langeveld. As you can see that Mirko decides to stay off them. You can take that risk, but do you want to take that risk? That's the question. Winston Eckel up to P6 now. He's going to go into pit lane. As are the two ahead of him. That is Jens Fiedler, Lucas Müller. Oh, he fakes it. Jens Fiedler goes on the lap, but he crossed the pit entry line. That might give him a penalty there. Crossing the pit entry line. But Jens Fiedler continues with Florian Becker behind him. Augustin in P7, the gaps are growing now a bit. Marinko Jordanovski on the back of Marius Zug. The BS Plus competition car in front. Then it's the Kazakh car of Marinko Jordanovski. And he's got him where he wanted him. And that is under pressure. A mistake. Contact between the two. Florian Becker still in front of those two. Marius Zug now ahead still of Marinko Jordanovski. He had him where he wanted him, and then he couldn't take advantage of it. Once again, he's going to try it around the outside. He's going to try to cut back. He's going to try to double cut back. Better exit. But he's on the outside now. That's not where you want to be for the next corner. The next corner is a right-hander. You want to be on the inside. Or you want to go and get a better exit again. He's almost pushing him through the corners. He is quicker, visibly quicker, but he can't get past. Marius Zug is making these small mistakes under pressure, but they're not big enough for Jordanovski to take any advantage of it. A better exit now from the Kazakh driver. He's going to go into pit lane. Both of them, it looks like, 8 minutes to go. Unfortunately, still continuing at the front of the field. Both of them do peel in. Here's Mirko Bortolotti, 3/10 of a gap to his teammate Niels Langeveld. Jens Fiedler still continuing. Florian Beck as well. Jonas Vana has the quickest lap of the race. He's going to try and claw back some positions to try and pick up still some points. But it's going to be a difficult task for Jonas Vana. In the background, that's Philippe Regret making his way past after he had that jump start. A lot of people in now. Quinten Verdonk is in. Mario Trummer is leading the silver class now. Then it's Benedikt Hochleitner. Benedikt Hochleitner and Mario Trummer haven't made their pit stop yet. first to the silver class driver who's made their pit stop. That is Christoph Steiner. Quentin Verdonk comes out of the pit lane there. A lot of cars that could fit in between that. But Quentin Verdonk will be happy with his second place in the silver class, I bet you. Smanis Heise is not here. Florian Stadtmann also not here. Florian Stadtmann, remember, he was leading the silver class on 18 points. Jonas Warner now up to P22. Mirko Bortolotti still continuing. Let's see if he peels in this lap. Still under pressure from Niels Langeveld. He's almost pushing him through the corners. He's almost pushing him to the victory. But he needs it. With Jonas Warner down the order, this is a chance for him to pick up some points. Looks like they're going to peel into pit lane now. Both of them are going to do so. And I can bet you that they have both maximized that pit entry. Everyone seems to be coming in now. Everyone who hasn't pitted yet. Walter Lux, next one. Sean Ter coming in. Hugo Rob coming in. Mario Trummer, Hendrik Steurer, Benedikt Hochleitner. All of them coming in. That's going to give maybe the lead to Lucas Müller. He's the first one who's made the pit stop now. But I think he's too far back. Mirko Bortolotti is already going to get going before he's even going to be able to get there. Oh, Niels Langeveld, has he taken Mirko Bortolotti in the pit stops? They're both side by side coming off pit road. Niels Langeveld gives it to Mirko. And I think we can clearly see now where he stands. Winston Eckel, is he going to overtake Jens Fiedler as well? Jens Fiedler has the inside coming out of pit road. Winston Eckel overshoots the corner. And that is going to give not only the position to Jens Fiedler, but also to Christoph Steiner. Christoph Steiner at the moment in P5. That is doing... that's good work for him in the overall championship as well. Mirko Bortolotti leading after he got given the lead by Niels Langeveld out of pit road. Niels clearly lifted Lucas Müller in P3. Where has Jonas Warner found himself now? Jonas Warner in P21, 8 seconds behind Michael Dörlinger. He has about 5 minutes to make up as many spots as he can. So then we're entering the latter stages of this race now. Jens Fiedler in P4, up 6 positions. Biggest gainer in the field, that is Walter Lux. He has gained 9 or 15 positions. He's in P9 at the moment. It's not like he had a shorter pit stop or anything. 41 seconds for Walter Lux, 40 for Hendrik Augustin ahead of him. Winston Eckel after the pit stop phase, he finds himself in P5, up 1 from where he started. Jens Fiedler up 6, like I said, he finds himself in P4. When is the white flag going to be waved? Is Mirko going to get to start finish before the time runs out? That is the question we're all asking ourselves. But the gap to Niels Langeveld is now grown to 1.8 seconds. A very short pit stop time for Niels Langeveld, only 39 seconds. So he might be saving fuel, you know. Winston Eckel, P4. He's still in a fight with Jens Fiedler. This is to try and get onto the podium. if he can catch up to Lucas Müller, that is the gap. Almost, yeah, well, over 4 seconds is the gap. So it's going to be a mammoth task, but it's not impossible. As we've seen, Winston Eckel now ahead of Jens Fiedler. Winston Eckel said to me previous to this round, I want to be fighting with the likes of Mirko Bortolotti and Jonas Varna. Not quite there yet, Winston. 8 seconds down. If you look how much time he has lost at the early stages of this race. Then he could have well been up there. Oh, there he is, so close. Jens Fiedler. Going to try and slipstream back past Winston Eckel. Here's the white flag out, that's the question. Look on the right hand side of screen. Is there a Barney waving a white flag? Yes sir, there's the white flag. Mirko Bortolotti's in the last lap of this race. So that makes it even more important for Jens Fiedler to get past it. Can't hang around. Maybe he can try something on the run down the hill or up the hill on the start-finish straight. Because that is quite a long run to start-finish. Benjamin Moza has just been overtaken and is now going to re-overtake Hugo Hopp again. This is for P12 and 13. Hugo Hopp on the inside. Mario Car on the right hand side of screen, that is Benjamin Moza. We go up on the inside of the gas accelerated car, he gets that position. But this is such an important race for this man. After he saw his championship rival in the pits for 1 minute 20 seconds, he did everything he needed to do. Because Mirko Bortolotti is going to do a really good job for the championship. He's going to pick up the points he needs, and he wins the feature race at Fuji International Speedway in the Clio Cup, while his championship rival Jonas Varna is down in P20. Down and out, is not going to pick up any points. So all the points that Mirko Bortolotti has picked up now are gained. And that has turned the championship on its head now. That's all Mirko Bortolotti needs to catch back up. And that has equaled the both of them once again, going into server 2. There was a 3 wide moment as well behind that. That was between Michael Derlinger, Stefano Pellegrino and Jonas Varna. The 3 of them covered by 1 1/4 tenth of a second. But that, ladies and gentlemen, was the race. It flies by server 1. Waiting for the results for Chris Maya to come across the line. Here he is. Once he crosses the line, we will get the official result of the feature race. And then after that, we, of course, will go to the draw for server 2. Well then, the result is in. And let's go over the results of the feature race. Mirko Bortolotti wins ahead of Niels Langeveld. Lucas Müller in P3. Winston Eckel finishes P4. Could come back drive frame after he dropped down to P10 after the opening lap. Jens Fiedler in P5, Christopher Steiner in P6, Florian Becker P7, Hendrik Augustin 8th, Walter Lux 9th, Martin Stadtmann 10th, Chanter 11th, Hugo Rob 12th, Quinten Verdonk 13th. Of course, Christoph Steiner wins the silver class, Quinten Verdonk 2nd. Third in the silver class, Tom Lightgib. In between Quinten Verdonk and Tom Lightgib, Benny Moza, P14. Then Mario Tromma, P16. Stefano Pellegrino, 17th. Mika Derlinger, 18th. Jonas Wana, 19th. Benedikt Hochleitner in P20. P21 for Jan Lins. Mariko Jordanovski, 22nd. Hugo Zasse, 23rd. Benedikt Hitz, 24th. Philippe Ugrin, P25. Henrik Storas, 26th. Marcus Deutsch, 27th. Christian Ablasa, P28. Marius Zoek, 29th. David Euroma, P30. P31, Chris Meyer. And P32, Matthew Rowton. Well then, let's move to the draw for server 2.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, Mirko. That was, first of all, congratulations on the victory. That was some amazing racing with the Clios on Fuji.
Right, let's go ahead with the draw for the second race with the car. I'm gonna share the screen.
Uh, 2 seconds. There we go. Ready for it. Ready when you are. So, of course, last time, on Friday last week, we had the GTEs at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. That was a very quick configuration. I think lap times were about 1 minute 10 seconds. Let's see what we're going to have this week. GTE is in it because we have the success ballast added this week to the cars.
Right, so I just doubled that. Looks a bit better. And let's go.
So is it going to be GTE again, or is it going to be something different? We will only know after we've drawn the 2 cars that the battle is going to be between Super Formula. Is going to be the first one. So let's see which car is going to be the other one that's going to be put into the draw. It's going to be GTP. So 2 very, very quick cars. Cars with downforce as well.
Very, very similar to the Clio, both. Not.
No. Well, the Clio has almost no downforce.
I was
say
just
none.
kidding, mate. Right, let's go with the track as usual.
So then, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park we had on Friday. And it's going to be Canadian, almost Canadian again. But we're going to go to Barber or something else.
So as you can see, it's a track that is eligible for both. So we can keep Barber in the draw. Oh, sorry.
Just quickly, Mirko, explain to everyone what eligible means for those cars.
I made a mistake. Wait a second. Okay, now the tracks are back. We need to remove Barber, not the others. Where is it? Here. Okay. Eligible means that on this list, there are certain tracks that are not eligible. That means we cannot drive on in GTP and Super Formula because we felt they are not suiting those cars. The main topic was safety and not other reasons.
So the other track is going to be Snetterton, but that one, if I'm correct, is not eligible.
That's not eligible, so we need to do it again. We will take Snetterton out anyways. I think we can take all tracks out that are not eligible in that case. Quicker. If I find them all.
So that means we're going to have to draw again.
Second one, yes. Barber is the first option. Let me check.
From what I can see, all non-eligible tracks are...
So Fuji has to be taken out, of course.
Yeah. Because we've just
been... And Canadian as well. Okay. So I'll shuffle that one up and let's go.
All right, let's see what other track it's going to be. It's going to be Lagos again.
Actually, we need to remove it because we've had it already.
Of course, this track we were at last week at server 1 with the Porsche
It's
Cup.
a never-ending draw tonight.
Yeah. All right, now then, hopefully this is the final time that we're going to have to draw for a track. Rudskogen. That's in Norway. Very cool track, Rudskogen. A very quick track with both cars. So let's see which one of the tracks it's going to be. Here we go. Barber Motorsports Park or Rudskogen. It looks like it's going to be Norway, and we're going to Rudskogen.
First time as well in W12 series that we race in Rudskogen. Let's find out which car. It's gonna be a quick car, that's for sure.
So then it's going to be either Super Formula or the GTPs.
You ready?
Here we go. Let's decide where we're going to be at with which car. Oh, it's going to be a close one. It's going to be GTP just about.
Right. So it's going to be GTP at Rudskogen. Make sure you select your correct cars according to the entry list. And have fun. Good luck, everyone. See you after the race.
That is an amazing draw for server 2. So we're going to go to Rudskogen with the GTPs. And I think that suits that track really, really well. Well, let's wait for everyone to come in for the interviews after this round. We're waiting, of course, for the top 3. Those drivers being, as we look back at the result, Mirko Bortolotti, Niels Langeveld, and Lucas Müller. I don't think we're going to get Mirko Bortolotti. He will be busy setting up the server. It doesn't look like we have anyone at the moment. But all of them busy with getting into the other server as quick as possible. And we will do the same over here. We will be back once we are in the other server. So we will see you soon. Don't go anywhere, because you don't want to miss it. So then, welcome back to the W12 Sprint Series for Server 2. For Server 2, like you have seen, we are at what's called the Data Center in Norway. The full configuration in Rakestad. Rakestad. Don't exactly know how to pronounce that, but I try my best anyways. The most important is that the track at the moment is 19 degrees and is only 3.1 kilometers long. Once again, 1 minute 10 is the lap time that we are expecting it, and 1 minute 10.4 is the lap time that we've gotten from Florian Becker. So then, we've seen some interesting car choices. We've seen some BMWs. The BMW is actually leading at the moment. We've seen some Cadillacs. We've seen some Acuras, and we're seeing some Porsches. Those are the choices you had if you wanted to enter in the GTP class. What's a class it is? GTPs. Brilliant machines. The Acura definitely sounds amazing, looks amazing, looks like a spaceship. You have the BMW. This was the GTP that we actually got the earliest in iRacing. Came out beginning of 2023, and the rest quickly followed. Following those was also the Cadillac. Cadillac just sounds awesome, looks great, especially, I have to say, it is more of a Acura livery. A BWT livery looks good. And of course we have the Porsche. You can't go wrong with a BS Plus competition livery on a Porsche. Not at all. So then how will this session look like, or how will this server look like? We will have 3 sessions after this one. We'll have a 15-minute open qualifying session, then we have an 18-minute sprint race and a 20-minute feature race with a reversed top 18 from the result of the sprint race. Jonas Varna. Jonas Varna is in P11. Finding it a bit more difficult than all the other cars. It is a difficult car to get a grip of. That's one thing, that's for sure. At the moment he's about 7.5 tenths off of Florian Becker in the BMW, but it seems like every car is really well represented. Porsche is in the top 6. Cadillac is in the top 6, the Acura is in the top 6, and the BMW is in the top 6. Basically all cars are within the top 6, and that is always great to see. How are you going to start these cars though, because we don't really have a standing start in these cars. How you're going to start them is very, very important. Okay, trying a start, there we go. Not having too much success at the moment. That is better. He's going to try that again. Now that I'm talking about it, this is how important a start like this is. He's going to try it multiple times until he knows how to do it. Contact. Well, that was not the best awareness there from Florian Becker. He was impeding someone who was on a quick lap. Now he doesn't. Now he lets him pass. Now we're going to start on a downhill section, my friends. So so much easier than the uphill section we have at start finish. Everyone trying starts now because they're also important. What's also important is this next session that is coming up, and that is qualifying for you. Alright then, here we go. Everyone trickling out of pit lane slowly but surely. Look, it's everyone coming out at once. Everyone slowly but surely fiddling out. Winston has gone with the Acura. Sasse has gone with the Porsche. Benedict Hitz with the Cadillac. Pascal Haas with the BMW. Only 5 BMWs in here, I think. Excuse me, it was 7. But we have a great split of which cars are in here and which cars are not. Oh, well, all cars are in here, but the amount of cars that are in here. From every manufacturer, we have a great split with that. So then who's going to take pole position? Benedict Hitz. Looks like he's quick underway at the moment. So we're going to have to wait for him. See where he's going to come out, and that is not the lap that he wanted. Straight on at turn 1. The Porsche of Quinten Verdonk. He's just come out of pit lane. Niels Langeveld as well, together with Christian Ablasser. They're on their way out. Here they are. 1 Porsche, 1 BMW. It's so difficult now coming out of pit lane because you merge onto the ideal racing line. I know one man is quick, and that is Hugo Rob. And these cars, he's blisteringly quick. Purple in both the first and second sector. He could be the man to be here. And he's with it with that tail qualifying. Only green though in the third sector. Benedict Hitz purple there. Oh, he's sideways and he's not going to finish that lap. Because Hugo Rob is going to go into the barrier and he's going to have to start all over again. Marius Zug gets the quickest lap in the Porsche. You can't go wrong with that BS Plus competition on the Porsche. That is just an amazing livery. Benedict Hitz. He had purple in the third sector. He, of course, went straight on at turn 1, so his lap doesn't count. He's going for it now. Oh, there's traffic in the way. One of the Acuras, was that Winston Eckel? Yes, it was Winston Eckel. Didn't quite get out of the way as much as he liked, I think. Monaco Minolta. That is the livery that he has on. Monaco Minolta. Jonas Vana is quick. We thought he was struggling, but never count Jonas Vana out, it seems like. In the Iron Lynx livery, Cadillac across the line for Jonas Vana, and that is P1 by 1.3 seconds. 1:10.6, puts down a lap when he needs it. No slipstream on that lap either, as it looks like. Martin Stadtmann into P3. Good lap for him. He's in the BMW. Mirko Bortolotti into P2, still 6/10 though behind Jonas Vana. It's going forward with Mirko Bortolotti. There's not a lot you can see from in these cars. That's one thing that's for sure. See the elevation change here on the gyro cam. Oversteer for Mirko. Mirko, of course, closely involved in the Lamborghini hypercar project. So he will 99% sure drive one of these cars in real life. If it's not this year, probably next year. Or if it's not next year, it's the year after, excuse me. Because of course the racing season is over almost. Jonas Vana has just improved again to a 1:10.3. What can Mirko Bortolotti do? Can he improve? A 1:11.1. That is an improvement, but not enough. So that is a lap around this beautiful track, Rudskogen, and that is a P4 lap time at the moment, 1:10.9. Mirko's slowly but surely improving, but he needs more because a 1:10.2 is the quickest time at the moment. The time top left for Jonas Vana is not correct. That was the first lap time that he put down. However, the gaps to Jonas Vana, those are correct. Benedict hits about half a tenth of a second behind Jonas Vana. Marius Zug, he is about a tenth of a second behind him. Then we go to Marius Zug, or to Mirko Bortolotti. He's about 7/10 of a second behind him. Then Benny Moser, 8/10 of a second. Florian Becker, almost a second. Same for Niels Langeveld. Jonas Vana improve again. Yes, he is to a 1:10 flat. Will we see a 1:09 from Jonas Vana? That's the question. These cars will keep improving. The more you drive, the quicker they will get. 1:10.4 for Mirko Bortolotti. That's more like it. That's what he needs. He needs a bit more. That's more like it for Mirko Bortolotti. In the silver class, Christoph Steiner at the moment has the pole position. Quickest in the silver class across the line. Stefano Pellegrino, also a silver driver, he just went across the line. Where Stefano Pellegrino put himself? Stefano Pellegrino has put himself to, well, looks like P29 at the moment, but no time set yet for Stefano. Jonas Vana, he has done it, a 1:09.99. That is the lap time that he has put out. Mirko Bortolotti with a purple sector. Doesn't quite improve. 1:10.5. Had a purple sector in there, slowly but surely. Mirko's getting to grips with that car. Only one session so far that Jonas Vana has not finished P1 in, that he's taken part in, except the practice sessions. We don't count these. We'd say competitive sessions. Stefano Pellegrino has finally put in the time, 1:12.7. With the silver time at the moment, 1:11.3. That is from Christoph Steiner. Quentin Verdonk in P17. He has a 111.81. That is P2 in the silver class. Chanter in P21 overall. He's done a 112.1. Just to show you how difficult these cars really are. They're not easy cars to drive at all. So then, Mario Stug. He finds himself in P2 at the moment. So if we look at the top 5, it is Cadillac, Porsche, Cadillac, Acura, BMW. All 4 brands represented in the top 5. That tells you that with every car you will be able to win this race. No car is better than the other. And Luke Augustine in P11 in the all black livery. Looks kind of good, I have to say, in the Cadillac. The all black livery. Marinko Jordanovski. He finds himself in the Acura as well. Also for Kazakh Racing team. Walter Lux, he's improving. He's in P15 at the moment. Comes on to start finish. Has a bit of slipstream from the BMW ahead. Walter Lux across the line. 1. That's an improvement in terms of time, not in terms of position. Stefano Pellegrino, P19, he's gone into pit lane. He was improving, but not improving by enough, he thinks. Should I start? No, he's not. Quentin Verdonk, P17. Stefano Pellegrino has gone up to P4 in the silver class. Here's Quentin Verdonk in the red livery Porsche from the SRT. Müller is quick on the way as well. He moves up to P4. Had a bit of slipstream maybe on that lap from the Porsche up ahead. Let's put Mirko Bortolotti down to P5. Improving at the moment. Stefano Pellegrino in the middle sector. Tom Lightgame goes up to P25 overall. Christoph Steiner is dropping further and further down the overall order, but still in P1 the silver class. Jan Lins goes to a 112.9. He stays in P28 with that, and that is deep from Stefano Pellegrino. During rejoining the track, almost comes into the path of Lucas Müller. Can't really see what Lucas Müller is doing at the moment. Mikael Dörlinger to a 113.3. That keeps him in P31. Lucas Müller wasn't improving. Quentin Verdonk, he improves. He improves to P16 overall. That's only 2 positions away from Christoph Steiner, but it looks like he isn't going to go any further than that. Mirko Bortolotti not improving either. Tom Lightgate right behind that. Where is he going to go to? Tom Lightgate, P25 at the moment, and he's going to stay there. Martin Stadtmann in P10. What can he do? He needs more, but he doesn't get more. 112. Marinko Jordanovski, 110. Jens Fiedler in P21. What's he going to do? Across the line. A 113.8. Not what you like to see, especially not if you're against Fiedler, who was up there in the top 5, definitely in the Clio Cups. It's Langeveld, he's got to come across the line of the Porsche, improving in 2 sectors, not in the last. Keeps him in P9 without an improvement. Walter Lux has just improved as well. He's gone up to P8, 110.9. Florian Becker, 110.6. improved his time, not his position. Jonas Varna seemingly can't improve on that 109.99. Winston also far down the order. What time's game are you going to set? 1:13.5. That's disappointing from the man who finished 4th in server 1. Jens Fiedler. At the moment, the P21 needs a quick lap. Is he going to get a quick lap? Improving in section 1 and 2. 1:13.7 it looks like at the moment. Not an improvement for him. Chanter, P23. He needs an improvement ASAP. Is he going to get an improvement? Yes, he is. 1:11.168. That's a good improvement for him. Niels Langeveld in P10 then. He needs an improvement as well. Niels Langeveld up to P7. Evie P26 overall in the silver class. He's doing rather well, but he stays in P26. Marco Bortolotti improving in the first sector, but that is wide. He's going to set up for one final lap here. Here we go, Marco Bortolotti, one final lap. Winston Eckel, P19, he has a great sector. Marco Bortolotti, 1:10.3, that was weirdly enough an improvement, even though he went wide in the last set, in the last corner. Winston Eckel, 1:11.5, he needed an improvement, he gets a bit of an improvement. In terms of positions, only 2, up to P17. Marco Bortolotti is improving in sector 1. But Marco Bortolotti has made a mistake and he's not going to get pole position with that. Jens Fiedler P22, what's he going to do? I'll keep an eye on the timing screen. 1:21, that's not a representative lap time at all. Lucas Müller, he gets an off track. Jan Lins, 1:12.405, not a bad lap time, but keeps in P27. Lucas Müller got an off track, isn't going to get to the finish line in time, and that is your grid set for the race. Here we go, here's the great Jonas Varna. Once again finishes first in a competitive session. Alongside him it's Marius Zug. Benedikt hits 3rd for Lucas Müller. Mirko Bortolotti 5th. Florian Becker 6th. Niels Langeveld 7th. Hendrik Augustin 8th. Marinko Jordanovski 9th. And rounding off the top 10 is Walter Lux. Benny Moser 11. 12 for Martin Stadtmann. 13 for Hugo Rob. Chanter 14. Christoph Steiner 15. Pascal Haas 16. Winston Eckel 17. Quinten Verdonk 18, Hendrik Steurer 19, and rounding off the top 20 is Philippe Ungrein. Stefano Pellegrino 21, Jens Fiedler 22, Mario Trummer P23, Chris Meyer P24, P25 for Tom Leitgeb, Davy Overmar P26, Jan Lins P27, Hugo Zasse in 28, 29 Christian Ablasser, P30 for Markus Deutsch, P31 Michael Dörlinger, and Benedikt in P32. That is the grid for today. In the sprint race in server 2. We're patiently waiting. Here is your pole sitter Jonas Varna. In the Iron Lynx Lamborghini liveried on a Cadillac. How you prefer it. I have to say that the Cadillac sounds amazing. So, how are we looking then? It's Cadillac, Porsche, Cadillac, Cadillac, Acura, BMW, Porsche. Alright then, here come the 5 red lights. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, it's 5. Green. We're underway. Who's going to get the best start? Such a difficult start to start this one. But it looks like Florian Becker in the BMW got an absolute flyer. He's up 2 before we even get to turn 1. A bit of a snap though for Benedikt Hits. He's going to have a slowdown there. He's going to have to serve a slowdown. He's going to pull over to the right hand side. He's going to have to let everyone past. And that is going to hold him down. Marinko Jordanovski is going round this one in the background. He was into the barrier. He's stuck in the barrier almost. But he gets the car going again. Jonas Varna still in P1 with a gap of 1.2 seconds already. Lucas Müller in P2 in the Cadillac. Cadillac is a very good race car, not the best qualifying car. So is the same for the BMW and the Porsche. Here's Mirko Bortolotti, lost 3 positions on this opening lap so far. But this is such a difficult car, especially on the first lap. The tires feel like they're ice cold, the tires feel like they're ice. They feel like they're hard plastic, they feel like they don't want to give. And I think a couple of drivers are feeling that at the moment. Round the outside for the BMW of Florian Becker. He's dropping back after that blistering start he had. Now side by side with Walter Lux. Cadillac. The Cadillac gets the better of him to the inside though for the BMW of Florian. Florian doesn't get it now. He has Mirko on his rear end, hot on his rear end in the Acura. Hugo Rob with a good start as well, up 5 positions. Jonas Vana has lost the lead to Lucas Müller. I told you that Cadillac was a very good race car, and he's proving that at the moment. The BWC liveried Cadillac is setting blistering lap times at the moment. Last lap time 2/10 quicker than the man who started on pole position, Jonas Vana. Jonas Vana is getting those tires at the temperature. So is the same for Lucas Müller. Now Lucas Müller's under pressure. He feels the pressure from the championship leader. Oh, there's a spin in the background. Who with Hendrik Augustin in the Cadillac. Oh, snap as well for, I think Benedict Hitz that was. Yes, it was in the Ally. Cadillac. Jonas Vana still hot on the rear end of Lucas Müller. But it looks like at some points on this track, Lucas Müller is just a bit quicker than Jonas Vana, excuse me. Nils Langeveld in P2 in the Porsche, big gap for him to the top 2. But once again, he's up there. He's doing what he needs to do consistently. Mirko Bortolotti gained points on the championship leader Jonas Vana in server 1. That doesn't look to be the case here in the sprint race in server 2. 15 minutes remaining. Of course, we need pit stops in both races. Drivers already going into pit lane. Winston Eckel, what a start he's had, up 5. But Hugo Sasse, right behind him, is up 15 on this opening stage of the race. Only 3.5 minutes had, and he's up 15 positions. What an opening sequence of laps he's had. Winston Eckel up 5, Quinten Verdonk up 7, Pascal Haas up 7, Walter Lux up 7. Up 9 for Benedikt Hochleitner. Also up 11 for Jan Lins. Up 12 now, he's overtaken Benny Moza. Cars already into pit lane, Winston Eckel one of them. Then it's Hendrik Steurer and Hendrik Augustin. See which one of those will come out. Winston Eckel was at the front of that pack in the beginning. Winston Eckel looks like will come out ahead as well. We're looking at the battle for the top 15. This is Jan Lins that we are looking at. In a battle with Benny Moza. Benny Moza switchbacks him. Contact between the two. These cars are not made for contact. Oh, look up from Jan Lins, but that is a block pass and a half. Also, he's trying to rinse the tires on the exit. Jan Lins manages to keep it going, drifts around that corner. But that was a long time coming. He was lighting up the rear tires. The rear tires provided no grip in the next corner because they were overheating. And Jan Lins around and back down to P18. Benedikt Hitz, he's down 5. Mariusz Zuk, he's down 5. Biggest loser at the moment, Marinko Jordanowski. He's down 13 without having made this stop yet. He's going to do that now. He's going to go nice and easy into pit lane. Very slow pit lane here. Lucas Müller still ahead of Jonas Vana. A little bit of a look up from Jonas. Jonas is close, but can't seem to find a way past at the moment. Maybe now that Jonas Vana is all over the back of him. Made a little bit of a mistake there, Müller. But regathers himself, and look the time he gains just on braking into turn 1 and then on exit. It's crazy. He gained 3 tenths there almost on Jonas Vana through that sequence of corners, turn 1 and 2. Jonas Vana needs a mistake from Müller. One of the Acuras that has come out of pit lane, one of the Gazek's Acuras is that Mirko Bortolotti. It's not Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko Bortolotti at the moment, the P5. Behind Walter Lux, who's up 6 positions. Quinten Verdonk leading the silver class at the moment. Has to still make a pit stop though. Keep that in mind. That might be another position. Who's gone wide there? That is... Oh, that's traffic. That was a lapped car. I thought for a second that was Sean Terre, but Sean Terre's in the BMW right ahead of him. Sean Terre's also had a very good start, up 3 positions into P11 right now. That seems to be where Sean Terre finds himself back in every car. P11. Who's going to pit when? That's the question. On board with the beautifully sounding Porsche. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a lap on board in the chase with Quinten Verdonk. Also had a crash. That crash is from Henrik Steurer. Here's that crash. Porsche. The Hertz livery Porsche. Oh, he's gone round on himself. Chris Meyer also crashed. Oh, that was close with the BMW there. Oh, there's no rear wing on that car already. Yeah, well, that's not going to give you a lot of grip. Oh, and there we go. Rear steps out. Chris Meyer. Maybe better to make your way to pit lane without a rear wing, my friend. Oh, Steurer has gone around again. What has he done now then? He was already off the track. But what has he done? This is the turn. Yeah, he's just got straight on, Annie. Yeah. Oh, into the barrier this time. You can see the front of the car didn't like that. Back to live pictures. 8 minutes to go in this race. Lucas Müller still in the lead of the race, catching up to lap traffic now. Jonas Vana in P2. Niels Langeveld in P3. About 4 seconds behind the lead pack. And then behind that we have Walter Lux and Mirko Bortolotti catching up to Niels Langeveld. There we go. In the span of about 1 corner, they caught up more than half a second. So Mirko Bortolotti. On the nose with Mirko. Front row seats for if something happens between these two ahead of us. Into pit lane goes Mirko. There go our front row seats, Walter Lux. Right, Niels Langeveld now. Oh, that's a bit wide ahead. What car is that? That's one of the BMWs, I think. Is that Florian Becker? It is Florian Becker. It was Philippe Rugrat, excuse me, in the Porsche, not in the BMWs. I thought it was Florian Becker. I found that really weird already. Florian Becker has to make his way out of the way for his teammate, because he's a lap down, and he does that there. Very well done. But like I done earlier, that is going to have cost Florian Becker some time. Everyone going into pit lane except Florian. He's going to continue a lap. There's always the fear now that you've gone a lap too long, that you're not going to make it on fuel. But most BMWs, because also Pascal Haas has gone round again. Looks like BMWs are just really good on fuel. Might Sean Terre gain a bit in the pit stop phase here. Mirko Bortolotti has already made his pit stop. But where is he going to come out? He's going to come out ahead of everyone who was there before. Except Niels Langeveld. There's Niels Langeveld on the outside. That's his teammate. That's the one he tried to undercut. That's effectively P3. And Mirko Bortolotti has done it. He's undercut Niels Langeveld. A superior strategy from Mirko Bortolotti is what's going to make the difference here. He was stuck behind them for quite a while. Niels Langeveld now trying to defend compared to Marius Zug. So he can't only look at attacking Mirko, he also has to look at defending. There he goes, defensive to Marius Zug. Marius Zug's going to try and make his way around the outside. Does the switch back on Niels Langeveld. That's the outside for the next left-hander. That's not where you want to be. Contact between the two. And that sends Marius Zug off the track. That allows Walter Lux to come through. Contact between those two again. Going into the last corner. Walter Lux is going to have to carry it around the outside. He's going to give him as much room as he needs. He's going to get the better exit in the Cadillac. Porsche has the outside for turn one. That's not ideal. He turns in. Both of them very respectful racing. And Walter Lux slots in behind Marius Zug. Florian Becker has come out ahead of them. He's now right behind Niels Langeveld. Niels Langeveld can't get a break, it seems like, at the moment. Everyone's now made their pit stop. That has given Mirko Bortolotti P3 in this race. Stellar drive from Mirko so far. Doing everything he needs to do. Benedikt Hochleitner into pit lane. Lucas Müller still ahead of Jonas Warner. These two still tangled into a battle, even though we've had the pit stops. Usually you see that the pit stops is a moment where you break up those two. But for them, they've been close in everything they've done so far. And the same is the case for the pit stops. Pit stop time, only 2/10 slower for Jonas Warner. Was that a mistake in the background from Jonas? It did look like it, but he's managed to recover it. 10th of a second, he can't let that gap grow too big. Mirko Bortolotti in P3 with that strategy has done everyone in. Battles on track is Winston Eckhoff and Jens Fiedler. That's for the top 10. Remember, top 18 reverse, so at the moment, Davy Uwema would have the reverse grid pole position. Davy Overmars. All on his own. Ahead of him is Stefano Pellegrino. That's P2 in the silver class. First in the silver class after the pit stops. You guessed it, Quinten Verdonk. Quinten has something with server 2, but is he going to be able to keep the thing pointing in the right direction now? During the first race, during the sprint race in server 2, because that's where he lost the points in server 2 last week on Friday. Lucas Müller has opened up the gap to his second now. Jonas Warner. That's going to be difficult now for Jonas Warner to close up. Davy Overmars is on the back of Hugo Ropp. Hugo Ropp in the Porsche is going to concede that position. I can't see any damage to that car. That is on pure pace. It seems like Davy Overmars trying to overtake Benedict Hitz as well. Benedict Hitz in the Cadillac is struggling. Maybe fuel is the problem for those guys. Not for Benedict Hitz though, his pit stop was 54 seconds. So he must have enough fuel. He might have gone for new tyres, which I wouldn't see as impossible. Overtake from Henrik Augustin on Winston Eckel. Winston Eckel's going to try and make his way around the outside in the Cadillac. Not going to be able to get it. Has allowed Henrik Augustin to go up into 11th. Benny Moser in front of Henrik Augustin for the last spot in the top 10. Porsche v Cadillac. For P18, it's Hugo Ropp at the moment. He finds himself in P18, so he goes in pole position. There's Lucas Müller, there's Lucas Müller, and he's going to come through to win the sprint race. Well done to Lucas, managed to open up that gap at the end. Jonas Warner in P2 and Mirko Bortolotti with a great strategy finds himself in P3. Really, really well done. Really well done from everyone. And that is your top 3 for this race. Oh, we go up. There was one spinner there in the background, also a Gazak's car. I don't know exactly who that was. But it wasn't Hugo Ropp. He comes through on that reverse grid pole. And he's now going to count on race 2 for him to get a victory. Around he goes through turn 1. Well then, let's wait. Let's see if we have a warm-up in between. Yes, we do. That means that we can go to the results of the heat race. Here we go. Here's the results of the sprint race. Lucas Müller wins ahead of Jonas Warner and second. Mirko Bortolotti third. Niels Langeveld fourth. Florian Becker fifth. Marius Zug sixth. Walter Lux seventh. Pascal Haas eighth. Quinten Verdonk ninth. Benny Moser rounding off the top 10. Henrik Augustin 11th. Ahead of Jens Fiedler 12th. Winston Eckel 13th. Maarten Stadtman 14th. Benedict Hitz 15th. Davy Overmars 16th. 17th Marinko Jordanovski, Hugo Ropp 18th, Stefano Pellegrino 19th, and Tom Lightcape in P20. Remember that everyone from P19 downwards will be starting in the position where they are at the moment. Jan Lins in P21, Philippe Hugrin in P22, P23 for Michael Dörlinger, Hugo Zasse P24, Marcus Deutsch P25, Christoph Steiner P26, Mario Truma P27, Sean Ter P28, Christian Ablasa P29, Benedict Hochleitner P30. P31 for Steurer and Chris Meyer in P32. Well then, waiting for the warm-up to finish before we can give you the grid for the feature race. Here we go, here we have the grid. Hugo Ropp will be on pole position ahead of Marinko Jordanovski. Then Davy Overmars P3, Benedict Hitz P4, Maarten Stadtman 5th, Winston Eckel 6th, Jens Fiedler 7th, Henrik Augustin in P8, Benny Moser 9th, Quinten Verdonk in P10. Pascal Haas, P11. Walter Lux, P12. P13 for Marius Zug. Florian Becker, P14. P15 for Niels Langeveld. 16 for Mirko Bortolotti. Jonas Vana, 17. And Lucas Müller, P18. This is the spot where our pole position driver should slot in. And that is Hugo Rob. There is Hugo Rob. Waiting for everyone to go to the grid. Everyone has gone to the grid. We've seen that this is a very difficult car to start. And let's see who's going to be able to do that best. 5 red lights. They're out and we're underway. Hugo Rob with a good start. Marinko Jordanovski alongside him with a good one as well. There's Davy Heuvelma in P3 at the moment in the Cadillac. Also a good start for him, but these tires are cold. Keep that in mind. We might get through turn 1 and 2 cleanly, but then it comes the high-speed part, and that's where it gets difficult on these cold tires. Davy Heuvelma was to Benedict Hitz. The one who was struggling with cold tires in the last race is now the one who's triumphing, up 1 position compared to Davy Heuvelma. Martin Stadtmann stays P5, Hendrik Augustin in P6. P7 for Winston Eckel, then Pascal Haas in P8, P9 for Jens Fiedler, and P10 for Jonas Vana. Already trying to make his way through. Once again a good start for Jonas Vana, nails it again. Mirko Bortolotti up 1, Lucas Müller up 5. But these guys very much in the mid-pack, very much trying to make their way through cleanly, without any contact, because that would hamper their race as well. There's contact up front, there's a car spinning to the inside, everyone hopefully trying to avoid it. But it seems like not everyone has been able to avoid it. And it seems like a couple of drivers are involved in it. Mirko Bortolotti was involved in it as well. He goes into pit lane, he's grabbing. And that is going to give championship points to Jonas Vana, who's once again in this reverse group race found his way up the order pretty quickly on lap 1. He's up to P7 at the moment. Well, his championship contender Mirko Bortolotti was having trouble at the beginning of this race. So then another 16 minutes on the clock. Oh, a spin! That is Mario Truma. No, it's not Mario Truma. That was a BMW. Who was that? That was Pascal Haas who spun there. Mario Truma's gone round again. Yes. There's the Porsche of Mario Truma. Jan Lins, the Fach Autotech eSport team. The 555 from Jan Lins. He's also dropping down the order quite rapidly. Christoph Steiner behind him from the Gorillas AVL Racetech Sim Racing. Hugo Rob still leading this race, 2.8 seconds. Marinko Jordanovski, he's in second at the moment. Can Hugo Rob keep on to or hang on to that lead? Martin Stadtmann is quick behind, Hendrik Augustin is quick behind, Jonas Vana is quick behind. Jordanovski is also gaining at the moment. Hugo Hugo is quick in these cars, he's consistent in these cars. To catch up, it's going to be a difficult task. Once again, leader of the silver class, he's in P7 overall. Again, pick up some good points in the overall championship as well. John Lightyear is second in the silver class, and then Jan Lins in P3 with the silver class, P13 and 14 respectively. So who has the biggest lap, you might ask? Well, that is this man, 1:10.4, Jonas Vana. already made a pit stop. Winston Eckel is the first driver who's made a pit stop. First drivers who have made a pit stop. A couple of drivers have made a pit stop. Niels Langeveld, Florian Becker, Marcus Deutsch, Philipp Ulreich. Nichols is pit stop a lot longer. Mirko having what Jonas Vana had in server 1. That is no ideal. Is Jonas Vana going to take immediate effect of that as well? Or immediate advantage of that as well? Taking the victory. Well, we'll have to wait about 13 minutes before we know. Rob is doing everything he can to let that happen. Rob, of course, a teammate from Mirko Bortolotti. So is Marinko Jordanowski. So is Martin Stadtmann. These three guys will probably be working together to hold off maybe Jonas Vana for sure. And the Augustine behind that as well, the all black Impulse Racing livery. Benedict Hofleitner seems like he hasn't even started this race. Benny Mozart seems like he started or crashed at the start of this race. Same counts for Sean Terre. Ablasa didn't get further than lap 3. Zassa didn't get further than lap 4. And the rest is all still out there. Mirko Bortolotti is all the way down on P27. Down 11 on where he started. His last lap time was his quickest lap time though. And he's a lap down to the leaders. And he will never be able to catch that back up. Up. Last lap time 1:10.7. Best lap time 1:10.5. Like I said, he's very consistent. Marinko Jordanowski is behind him 3 seconds. And it's Martin Stadtmann. He's 4.5 seconds behind that almost. In touching distance with Marinko. And then it's Jonas Vana who's gotten past Hendrik Augustin a couple of laps ago, or last lap I think. The gap though that he already has to Hendrik Augustin, that tells you how much time he was losing behind him. Stadtmann next break. Mirko Jordanowski, what have you done? I saw a mistake. That was indeed the case, or has he just let Martin Stadtmann past? I don't think that is the case because he was about a second ahead of him. Mirko Jordanowski. Oh, that was one of the cars off. Who was that? Who was that? Oh, it was Christoph Steinert without a rear wing. He has to go and tow back to pit lane. Yeah, that is a very smart decision because you don't want to be hampering other people's races. Ten minutes remaining, still 08 pit stop from one of the people. From P16 Stefano Pellegrino upwards, we still get owed a pit stop. However though, I don't think that changes anything to the fact that Quinten Verdonk at the moment is leading in the silver class. Just split up for Dor Esports. He's already drawn back. Quickest last sector time, fourth sector time for him last time round. Showing that he is definitely still in with a shot because Jonas Vana isn't too far up the road. He still has Martin Stadtmann and Marinko Jordanowski to cooperate with. They won't be too nice to him. Rob now has about a 4-second gap to Martin Stadtmann. With about 8.5 minutes left. That should be a doable gap to keep up. Martin Stadtmann's going to go into pit lane. Back is Marinko Jordanovski, a free road ahead. Then it's Jonas Vana. They can still see Hugo Rob, however. There is Hugo. And there in the background is Marinko Jordanovski. So they can still see him. Once you can see someone, it's easy to gain on them. But now traffic coming into play for Hugo Rob as well. All the people leaving the pit stop late here. Traffic gets out of the way nicely. That is exactly what Hugo Rob needs. The BMW ahead of him right now, the ASR car. That seems to be Markus Deutsch. He needs to get out of the way ASAP. Or Hugo Rob needs to pull into the pit lane here. That might be a smarter decision. He's going to go for another lap though. Bit of a snap though from Markus Deutsch. Doesn't need to let him pass, but he's going to do that now. Sees the leader behind him. Immediately pulls over. Hugo Rob has gotten past. Oh, that was very smart though from Florian Becker. Using his teammate in the Porsche in front to get past Markus Deutsch. That was Verstappen at Monaco in 2015-esque. Svana still in P2, chasing down Hugo Rob now. Track is clear ahead of him. So it's pace versus pace now. I'll tell you one thing, it's not going to be easy for Jonas Vana to gain here. Gap still about 5 seconds with 6 minutes to go. That's a second almost every minute. If Hugo Rob doesn't do anything crazy. When is Hugo Rob going to go into pit lane though? That is something that we all question. Jonas Vana's going to go now. Hugo Rob also went now. Is this the time we're going to see the whole top 11 in? Because they're running out of fuel. It looks like that will be the case. Hugo Rob, Jonas Vana, Hendrik Augustin, Lucas Müller, Marius Soek, Quentin Verdonk, Pascal Haas, Jens Fiedler. All of those drivers are in Tom Lightgate. Jan Lins has also come in. Davy Uwama, will he come in? Yes, he will. So we're waiting for Jonas Vana to get underway. Jonas Vana is gotten underway again. He has to wait. He has to wait. Is that Hendrik Augustin? Yes, it is Hendrik Augustin that has overtaken Jonas Vana during the pit stops. It was a normal pit stop time for Marinko Jordanovski. A very quick pit stop time, 42 seconds for Hendrik Augustin. And a slow one, 45 seconds for Jonas Vana. But Jonas Vana is not going to hang around for long. He's already overtaken Hendrik Augustin. In the background, Lucas Müller is lurking as well. Hugo Rob with a gap of 5.4 seconds. Even after the pit stop now, this should be enough. Especially with Marinko Jordanovski's teammate in between. Hasn't won a race yet in the W12 Sprint Series, and this could be his first. But still a long way to go for Hugo Rob. 4 minutes. That's about another 4 or 5 laps. 37.216. Of course, you can't go off lap times now. They've all just pitted, so this is an out lap. Martin Stadtmann has lost 1 position compared to where he started. He's right behind Lucas Müller. For him, it's mostly damage limitation. Try and not drop too far back. Here's a battle. Benedict hits behind Quinten Verdonk, leader in the silver class. Also after the pit stops. Second in silver class, Tom Lightgib. Third, Jan Lins. Minutes remaining with a gap of 5.6 seconds. A gap that has been increasingly, that has been increasing throughout this race. It looks like Hugo Rob has this victory in his pocket. But he still is going to have to make it count. Where's Mirko Bortolotti? Mirko Bortolotti is in P23 at the moment and almost half a lap behind P22. So for him it's hope that Pink will DNF. Else he won't be able to catch anyone on pace at least. You know Mirko Bortolotti is quick, but he's not half a lap in 2 minutes quick. Rob's going to get onto the back of, or has Marinko Jadanovski as buffer in between him and Jonas Vana as well. This is a battle further back in the field. Davy Uoma and Florian Becker. Davy Uoma makes a bit of a mistake, goes wide, and that allows Florian Becker to overtake him. Then Florian Becker goes wide again. Florian Becker must have a slowdown. Now he needs to serve. Question is, when's he going to do that? The answer is now. Ivioma trying to unsettle Florian Becker. One BMW, one Cadillac. Looks like BMW has been a very difficult car to operate. 2 laps left for these guys. Background. No, we're not going to see it. I was going to say somewhere in the background we're going to see a wild Hugo Rob appear. But he isn't quite that far ahead yet. Here is your leader, Hugo Rob. 1:10.7 again last time round. This is battle on track at the moment. Is Walter Lux overtaking Benedict Hitz. Hits in the Ally Cadillac. Walter Lux in the student driver Cadillac. We're now going to enter the last lap. Hugo Rob 6.5 seconds ahead now. This can't go wrong. It can go wrong for Benedict Hitz though, side by side with Walter Lux. But Walter Lux decides to back out of that. Maybe wait for another lap. One thing's for sure though, and that is that this man is going to pick up his first victory if he doesn't do anything crazy in the next couple of corners. We know the last corner is a tricky one. We know this corner is a tricky one, but he doesn't need to push. He can have a Sunday drive to the finish from here, and he would still finish first. That's not in his blood though. That's not his motto. But Hugo Rob wins in the W12 Sprint Series. He wins the feature race in Server 2. Congratulations to Hugo Rob. Marinko Jadanovski comes home in second. And Jonas Vana comes home in P3, up 14 positions. And that is some good points compared to his championship rival Mirko Bortolotti, who's down in P23. Philippe Hugrin, another GasX Racing Team member. Waiting for one of them to come across the line. Stefano Pellegrino, I think, will be the last one to cross the line. He's into the last sector as well now. Wow, what a evening of racing we have seen. I think no one expected it coming into today that we would have this great of, of racing this evening, but we did. And let's look at the results for that race, because it was an amazing one. We've already got a couple of people waiting. And we'll start with Marinko Jordanovski. Marinko, welcome. Welcome in. First of all, congratulations on your second place. Tell us how that race was.
Thank you so much. Well, let's say that was the first race that went somewhat to plan. So far, the start of the season was not the greatest, especially with the LMDH. I struggled with force feedback issues and whatever, but finally some proper points, so I'm happy that it's finally over also.
How did server 1 go for you, Marinko?
Well, it could have gone better. The pace was there, the brain not so much. Just like the first server on the last race, I had an off track, so that meant I had to repass lots of drivers, had lots of fun battles, but also one mistake during the pits cost me a good position in the end.
What was the plan coming into server 2?
The plan was to finally execute. I know that I like the track and also the car, so for the first time there was like somewhat of a good combination there for me. And well, let's say the second race was more or less delivered in the end.
How was this car and track combination? Because it looked like a lot of fun out there.
Well, the first 3 laps were like hell. You had to fight the rear so much. As soon as you put the power down, everything was spinning and you had to drift like everywhere. But as soon as it got really up to temperature, it's just a lot of fun. It's so fast and the high-speed stuff.
All right, Marinko, thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Full of energy is Marinko Jordanovski. Let's move on to Lucas Müller. Lucas, welcome in.
Hello.
Lucas, well, first of all, congratulations on your victory in the sprint race. Tell us, how was server 2 for you?
Much better than server 1. I enjoyed the car much more than I did the Renault Clio. As I think like downforce cars and high downforce cars and fast cars are just very cool to drive. And yeah, I mean the race in itself, it was actually quite exhausting sitting here. So I'm like sweating a lot now after 2 of these races. But I think myself and Jonas Wanner, we pulled the gap to P3 quite early in the race. So it was still pushing to the limits, but we know that nothing pretty much could rub off our 1-2. So yeah, it was a good race, good fun. Some nice battles, especially in the second race. We took some people on track, which on this track with this combination isn't that easy. But yeah, overall nice evening. Had tons of fun, and yeah, looking forward to the next one.
How was the car track combination? Because it looked like it was a speedy one. The corners came at you very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like the GDPs, the LMDHs. I mean, obviously they have been made for different tracks, so like more faster tracks where you need the downforce. Here, obviously, you have a lot of second gear, third gear corners where the car isn't working in its normal area, I would say. So it was definitely a different experience than normal, because you not often see these cars drive around on this type of circuit. But yeah, as you said, I mean, it's a small circuit, and if you come very fast, the corners approach you very fast as well. So it was intense.
And then finally, tell us a bit more about how server 1 went for you.
Yeah, I had some problems getting up to speed with the Renault, I'd say. No idea how Johnny did the time. And then in the end, it was pretty much just staying out of trouble. Never drove the car before, so I was just like cruising around a bit. I mean, it feels a bit like a road car, so it's kind of used to how to drive that. But yeah, I mean, the race was cool. I mean, Fuji with the long straight always produces good racing, as no matter which car or class you have, at the end of the straight there will be some overtaking spots. And yeah, just tried to keep the clean as always, and then just profited from mistakes the others made and gained some positions. And yeah, that was pretty much server 1 for me.
All right, Lucas, thank you very much and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you and have a nice evening.
Well, let's go to someone who will be happy with server 1. but not quite with server 2. Mirko, welcome.
Hi guys. Good evening.
Mirko, you were
How are you
sick.
doing, Dan?
Yeah,
All right?
I'm doing good. You were sick coming into this evening. How difficult was that? Did that play any part in how you performed?
Mate, no excuses. I think the first race, I don't know. I mean, I've never driven that car, and I said after practice, I say if I finish in the top 10, I'm like super happy, and then coming away with a win is fantastic. Super unexpected with the Clio, and I expected a bit more from the second one, to be honest. But yeah, I think P3 with yeah, I messed up both starts. The first start, I almost stalled the car, and the second start, I jumped the start, so because I moved. So at the end, P3 is good. The second race, just everything went wrong, but it's okay. I mean, it's fine.
How difficult was it to start these cars? Because it looked like there wasn't a lot of grip.
Well, the Acura was definitely not easy to start. I don't know if the other cars were slightly better off the line. I think I heard of all kind of comments about it. Some cars seem to be good, and some cars seem to be a bit more difficult. Obviously, those cars are not made to start, you know, to have standing starts. So it's not made for that. But it's our rule here, so you need to understand how to do it basically, and we'll try to make it better next time.
In server 1, race 2 there, the feature race. Did you know that Jonas was that far down the order?
No, it made no difference. I was fighting with Niels. I knew that they tried the early stop, and so from that moment on, for us, it was just important to push as much as possible. That's what we did. We didn't really care about what they were doing. I knew the pace was strong. I was getting faster with every lap, and it worked out to take the win.
We had a moment at the exit of pit lane in server 1, that second race, the feature race, where Niels almost overtook you, and then it looked like he lifted. Was that on purpose to give you the lead back, or?
No, not as I know. I mean, we were just racing for the win. I don't know what happened to him, but he didn't lift from what I could see. I just had a better run out of it.
All right, Mirko, thank you very much, and congratulations on your victory in server 1.
Thanks, mate. See you soon.
Well then, let's move on to our last interview for tonight, and that is with a new race winner, Hugo Rob. Hugo, welcome in.
Hello.
Hugo, always very happy. Hugo, tell us, how was that second race? Because it looked like the first race, the pace was kind of missing.
I sandbagged that pole.
So you're saying that you purposely went to P18 to have...
No, I had a good start, but then it got spun around on like lap 3, and I was all the way down in like P22. And after everybody pitted, I was like P17. So I was like playing the strategy and just gave up one position for the pole.
How difficult was it, Hugo, to start these cars? Because they're not made for it.
I'm very lucky that I have a dual clutch. So, but yeah, I noticed some people were having mega starts.
Oh, how was server 1 for you?
Questionable.
Can you tell us more about what exactly happened?
No, front wheel driven cars are not my thing.
So,
I got really bad in them.
so you say Clio Cup next time, you're gonna win?
Doubt it.
All right, Hugo. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Well then, let's have a look at the results of this race, because there's one thing I know, and that is that we haven't looked at the result of the feature race yet. Here they are. Here's the results of the feature race. Hugo Rob ahead of Marinko Jordanovski, Jonas Vana in P3, and P4 for Henrik Augustin, Lucas Milla in P5, ahead of Mater Stadtmann in P6. Marius Zug 7th, Quinten Verdonk 8th, Benedict Hitz P9, and Walter Lux in 10th. Niels Langeveld 11, Jens Fiedler 12, Tom Lightcape 13, Jan Lins 14, Chris Maya 15, Florian Becker P15, Davy Overma P17, Hendrik Steurer P18, Marcus Deutsch P19, Philip Ugrein P20, P21 for Mikael Derlinger, Stefano Pellegrino 22, Mirko Bolcelotti 23, Pascal Haas 24, Mario Trummer P25, Christoph Steiner in P26, Winston Eckel P27, Hugo Zasse 28, Christian Ablasser, Benny Moser rounding off the top 30. After that, we have two more, Schotter and Benedikt Hochleitner, both not making it to the end of this race. Neither did Benny Moser, Christian Ablasser and Hugo Zasse. Well then, thank you all very much for watching. That was it for week 2 of the W12 Sprint Series. Catch us next week on Monday, back again, when we draw again for a new exciting track and car combination in both Server 1 and Server 2. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Until then, stay safe, and bye-bye.